Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Live and direct, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another rendition of Leadership Live right here on the Los Angeles Tribune Television Network. And I'm so excited because this episode is going to feature some of the folks from the brand new Leadership Edition of the Los Angeles Tribune. Now, many folks in this community know that this special Thought Leader Edition features some of the top women thought leaders from around the world, as well as men. But we have the cover story that features trailblazing women. And I'm so excited because we're about to start the show with a couple trailblazing women. In fact, the very first African-American woman elected as mayor in San Diego County is going to be joining us here in just a couple minutes. But before we start introducing some folks that will be joining us here on the roundtable, Julianne, you are also not just my co-host for the day, but you're also one of the contributors in this newspaper. So please share a little bit about what you wrote and the impact that you're hoping to make with this special Thought Leadership edition that's available not just in Los Angeles, but worldwide, both in print and online. Julianne, please.
First of all, thank you, Mo, for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to co-host with you. With this special edition, it was something that I really wanted to bring out in forefront, for especially for women in the world. There's this idea that transformation and change has to take a long period of time. It has to be hard and has to look a certain way. So what I wanted to bring to the table was this idea that you can grow exponentially without a lot of time and effort. Now, to keep that going, you definitely have to, the hardest part is to actually make that decision, the decision to move forward and not be who you were, but to be who you want to be. And I wanted to empower people to be able to do that and know that you don't need support from other people to make that decision. You don't need their approval. You just need to make that decision for yourself and be able to move forward. And that's when you find the support for the decisions that you're going to make moving forward. So I really just wanted people to especially women, to really understand that transformation does not have to be really hard. It does not have to take a really long amount of time. It just starts with that decision and that commitment to yourself.
Absolutely incredible. And folks, Julianne is going to be co-hosting the next hour, but make sure that you read her article in the upcoming, actually in the recently released Special Thought Leadership Edition of the Los Angeles Tribune. And with that, I know the virtual auditorium is so excited for our very first guest. Again, somebody that has broken glass ceilings with her career here in Southern California, the very first African-American woman elected mayor in San Diego County. And at the Los Angeles Tribune, one of the most important pillars of our work is to honor the local leaders here in Southern California. And so, Mayor, it's a pleasure to have you here with us, and thank you for contributing to the latest special edition. Let's kick off by just sharing a little bit about your background as a leader, because I know there's so many folks watching this that are going to be touched, moved, and inspired by your story. So we're going to give you the floor for you to just share a little bit about your journey in becoming mayor and helping break that glass ceiling here in Southern California. Mayor, please.
Thank you so very much. And before I get started, my name is Raquel Vasquez, mayor for the city of Lemon Grove. And the one thing that I'd like to say is that there were two very important days in our life. And that is the day that we were born, and then the day that we discovered the reason why. And it's people like you and me who seek the opportunity to make a difference through public service that inspires innovation and change. And there is nothing more rewarding than what we do through our collective efforts to support our values and to support each other. So, I always encourage people to collaborate together so that we can strengthen our future. Now, I am originally from the Los Angeles area, born and raised, graduated from Torrance High School, went on to Cal State Northridge. But my journey, I think, may be just a little unique. Growing up in the Los Angeles area, when I was very, very young, I spent a significant amount of time with my grandmother, Rosanna Keeling, who is no longer with us. But she made sure that every election year I would walk around the corner with her to vote. And this is what she would say to me every election year, and whether it was presidential or non presidential. And she would say, Raquel, it's important that you vote, and you vote in honor of the many men and women, African American, who lost their lives so that you could have the right to vote, but also the women's suffrage movement that gave the right to vote. And if you don't like the people, you don't like the politics, you vote in honor of them. Of course, with life, we change, we evolve, we grow. And I ended up getting married to my husband now. In fact, next month we will have been married 30 years. He served in the Navy, and he would serve our country with honor, courage, and commitment, often leaving our family behind for 6 months at a time. And I would take that time not only to work my regular job, but to volunteer in the community. And that led to opportunities to serve on boards and commissions for the city of Lemon Grove, and ultimately with the ask of many people within the city to run for office, I did just that. And I got elected as a council member in 2012. And I was the first person of color elected to our city council. Subsequently, in 2016, I ran for mayor and reelected mayor in 2020. And so here we are today.
Well, thank you for sharing that journey, Mayor. And, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. It's also a pleasure to have you as part of the Special Thought Leadership Edition that where we're honoring leaders past, present, and hopefully future by way of our readers that are the future leaders. So share with us a little bit about what it was in your contribution to this latest edition of the Los Angeles Tribune that you are hoping will impact the community, and the principles of leadership that you've shared here on our platform that you're hoping will impact not just Lemon Grove and San Diego County, but the entire Southern California and the nation, please.
It is my hope that those who read the article will get to know me as a person and realize that I'm just like you. And I have a caring heart for service, but also a caring heart for people. And as a woman leader in a male dominated field, let me tell you, it's not an easy road travel, but it's necessary. And I say that because in leadership, there's opportunity. And there's opportunity for people just like you, just like me, to step up and serve. And we need more people who are interested in making a positive impact in their communities to do just that at the local level. And if you have a desire to serve at a higher level, you can do just that. You have the ability within you to make it happen. You have the ability to take that desire to serve and help people and make a difference. And let me tell you, one thing that's unique and different about women leaders is, and I've heard this before, it often takes someone 7 times to consider an opportunity when you're a female before you actually say yes. So, in this moment, I hope that when people read the article, they will see themselves inside of my journey, and that they will consider not only running for office, but, stepping outside of their comfort zone and serving in an appointed position, or just getting involved in their local government. I tell you, that is where the rubber meets the road, because funding to maintain and improve your quality of life Yes, it may come from the federal level, the state level, but ultimately it comes home to your city or your county. And it is those who are in elected positions that actually make the decisions on how that funding will be spent to maintain and improve your quality of life.
Incredible. I want to add someone to the conversation, another leader from San Diego County, an international humanitarian, a woman that has educated hundreds of thousands of people in the private sector, and that's Dame Doria Cordova. Doria, you've been listening in the green room, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I know that the local community of San Diego has appreciated your work for many decades. You've donated millions of dollars in contributions to Southern California with all of the nonprofits and charities that you've supported. So, Doria, please, what are your thoughts on, first of all, the words that you've heard behind the scenes? And you are one of the contributors here at the latest Special Thought Leader edition. The floor is yours. Please share general thoughts as well as what you're hoping your article will contribute to, please. And then Julianne, take it away.
Well, thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
We can.
Okay, so I was just going to say congratulations, Mayor. What a beautiful, beautiful woman you are. And I'm so happy. I grew up in LA. And so from the time I was 12, and I used to be an official court reporter in the criminal court systems in Los Angeles. So I grew up in your neck of the woods, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. We used to dream of having mayors and leaders like you. Way back in the day, it was just not seen, and now we see it, and thank you for that. And so I just wanted to share that that was a little secret. Mo, you keep secret about my contributions. And I have been working around the world to transform educational systems around the world and eradicate poverty and hunger. But it doesn't look like that. I have a program called Money and You, Mayor. But we churn out social entrepreneurs, which actually go out and do good. And through the 44 years, I started at 29 years old. So I was really, really young, like you, right? And I actually, in the last 44 years, one of the things that I have been learning is the different definitions of what true wealth is. And about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I actually lost track. I began to see that actually access is true wealth. Is that most people that are very what we call resource poor. There are no poor people in the world. There are only resource poor people in the world, and so basically, they don't have access. They don't have access to resources, to cash, to investments, to education, to money, to good foods, to support, to experts. So that's one of the things I also love about the Los Angeles Tribune is that they're bringing access to so many people that otherwise would not have it, and to meet beautiful people like yourself, which is an honor. And next time I'm near Los Angeles, I'd like to come and visit you, and you visit me in San Diego, and I can share with you some of the things. I have met prime ministers and leaders, and I even met Fidel Castro back in the day in the 80s. So I've been around some amazing leaders, and they all have this one thing in common, which is charisma. And you have that. So congratulations. And thank you for the access that we can create for each other, all of us on this platform, all of us from the Los Angeles Tribune, that will change the world. So that's what my article is about. And I feel honored to be alongside you. Aloha. Thank you.
And if I may chime in, Doria, just so that you know, the city of Lemon Grove is actually located in San Diego County. So anytime you want to connect, just know that I am a short distance away. Lemon Grove is a small city. We are 3.88 square miles. We're located about 11 miles east of downtown San Diego.
Of course.
And so, just know that my doors are open. I would love to meet with you and talk about leadership, but also strategies to help people who really need help the most.
So we have Super Camp. We have Bobby D. Porter, who worked with Stedman Stedman Graham works very closely and with principals. Have you heard of Supercamp?
No, I have
Super,
not.
oh my God, we have a whole network for you. So we have a whole group to support you. And my apologies. I was thinking about this little town outside of Los Angeles. And for some, of course, I know Lemon Grove. I mean, you guys you used to have that great health um, institute. It's not, it was way before your time. We used to go to Lemon Grove and visit people getting treatments and things. And so, of course, I know where it is. I live in Ocean Beach and look forward to connecting with you. I travel the world a lot. Right now, I'm on Maui. We're very blessed. We live on Maui and in San Diego, but I am a San Diego girl too. Thank you.
Very nice. And I would like to just take this opportunity to thank the newspaper for bringing us together. Who knew, Julie, that we're so closely connected? And that's the wonderful thing about being part of this special edition. I believe that you have developed a network of people, very thoughtful leaders who work in our respective areas, our respective roles, to really create a great future.
Thank you so much, ladies. I have a question for both of you. We'll start with you, Mayor. Since both of you are such leaders in the community, and we've been talking about resources, which I think is so important in becoming a part of the community. Mayor, I'm curious, for people that maybe feel like they don't know the right people or that they don't know that they can make a difference, what would you suggest that they start? Where could they start in their own space?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the way that I got started was through community service and helping out. And so when my husband was gone to serve our country, I mentioned volunteering for community cleanups, to help out at senior homes within my city, and to partner with our government to do public art, and to contribute in terms of policies that were being made on boards and commissions. Really, that's how you start. You just step out of your comfort zone, you get out there, you meet people, and you help out in your community. And that, for me, that was the best way to start. Let me tell you, I did not have a vision board where I said, one day I'm going to be mayor of a city. That it wasn't on my vision board at all. But as destiny, should lay out the path for me, that is where I am, and a very thoughtful and caring leader who values people and the quality of our lives, and knowing that there is a way to create a shift, and that shift is through creating good policy to set the city up, for a great future, and through good financial management of the money. And the money comes through your tax dollars. And I always tell people it is our tax dollars. And this entire city, truthfully, is an extension of our own backyards. And so everything that you see, everything that you touch, every experience that you have, it's part of you. It's part of your household. And we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, our homes, and each other.
Beautiful. I love that. And Dame Dory, I know that you have all these nonprofits and the ways that you've been giving back to the community, but how did that start? How did you become the leader that you are?
Well, I actually, this is very personal because back in 1980, I was terrified of being a, a bag lady. Or, I used to see those ladies with the cart and all dirty and with every belonging that they have in the little shopping cart. So I decided to do an exercise. I was only 30 years old. And in those days, I actually still drank alcohol. I quit when I was 38 years old. And I decided to do one of the scariest things that I ever done, which is to spend the night in an area where now in downtown San Diego is completely developed and they have these big shopping areas and all this and that. In those days, it used to be a park. And I pretty much spent the night, and it was one of the most horrifying nights. I drank a lot of wine. I parked my Mercedes far away, and I walked there, and I took wine with me. I figured that I could share with someone. I didn't sleep all night. I knew some horrific things were happening, so I actually took it in my body. what it would be like to do that. And from that experience, I began to just speak to people about supporting. And we really began, I actually churn out social entrepreneurs. I mean, Tony Robbins, when he started feeding a lot of people in San Diego in 1983, I believe, after he met some, a major humanitarian in our network, they began to feed all these people, and bringing full turkey dinners to areas of San Diego. And then what we began to do is to just really let a lot of people know that we had access to about the level of poverty that there is in San Diego and in all the counties around it, because a lot of people, because it's a military town and there's a lot of wealthy, and you have La Jolla and and all these different areas, Point Loma, which I live close to, and all these areas of a lot of wealth that they forget. And so we began to bring awareness of the people that actually do not have access and how much poverty there was. And well, in those days, Mayor, National City, oh my God, I can't begin to tell you, or near the border, near San Isidro and all that. And now, things have been transforming. So I do it very quietly in the background. And of course, I would volunteer, but then we became so successful. I was in the Asia Pacific most of the time, but I continue to empower, to support, not only financially, but also by creating access for people. And so I introduce people. I'm a little bit of a behind. That's why most people haven't heard of me. I am behind the scenes kind of person. I'm constantly connecting and doing this and doing that. But I particularly, my specialty is to make the mega rich feel guilty. My mother said before she had dementia, my mother long time ago says, finally you found a good thing to do with your ability to make people feel guilty. And it was like, and I'm really good at it. And basically just making people that have a lot of resources that, okay, I get it that La Jolla has a vagrancy law, but we don't in Ocean Beach. So we get all the homeless, but that doesn't mean it doesn't occur. So it's awareness and communication and education and knocking on people's doors that, it's great to have 5 Teslas, but you know what? Maybe you can sell one of those and feed some of the people that need it. So I'm a quiet worker in the background and want to stay that way. Even though
Absolutely incredible.
Dragging me.
Absolutely incredible. Well, first of all, Doria, thank you for sharing that. And again, if you're just joining us, we're celebrating and honoring the latest Special Thought Leadership Edition, the world's first special edition newspaper dedicated exclusively to leadership and personal development that gets printed quarterly and distributed all around the world. And now, thanks to AI, our newspaper is available in over 17 languages, and the translations are impeccable. And so we want to add a couple folks to this roundtable leadership discussion. We're keeping up with the trend of private and public sector. And Saji is not just the CEO of U.S. Business Council. He is the general counsel for the Los Angeles Tribune and a former city attorney for the city of Santa Barbara and Santa Barbara County. And so when it comes to leaders in both public and private sector, you were able to listen in the green room to one of the most incredible mayors of Southern California, a woman that has made history in San Diego County, as well as someone that quietly has made an impact in Southern California. And Saji, you've worn both hats, private and public. I want to give you the floor for you to share your thoughts generally, as well as what people can expect from your contribution in the latest special edition Thought Leadership newspaper. Please, Saji, floor is yours. You're muted. You're muted, Saji. Let's make sure you're unmuted. And then Renee Dutton will be joining us in a couple minutes as well. Saji, please.
Excellent. Thank you for those kind words, Mel. I appreciate that very much. And Mayor, you're very inspiring. I saw your article before, but to hear you speak it into life on screen here from the green room was really, that's what really engages, really touched the sense that you have that idealism and the practice, but still coupled with practical approach to how to really translate things, and your affinity, obviously, not just because you're a woman, but because you're a woman leader, is really, really remarkable. And to hear Doria, you come in and just that generational impact. I mean, you see and feel so much. I know, of course, I know Dame Doria from outside of these four walls on the screen. But to hear you both together is all that's going right, I think, with where we're going in the direction of entrepreneurship, leadership, and just honestly gender roles in society. So making new impacts. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Saji. Mo?
Yeah, thank you so much, Saji, and share with our audience what people can expect from your contribution in the newspaper. I know that you spent a lot of time to create a article that is not just an article for folks, but like with everything at the Los Angeles Tribune, a experience. And so please share a little bit about what people can expect from your contribution. And then Julie, we're going to have Renee Dutton take it over after that. And it's a pleasure and privilege to have Renee Dutton, best-selling author, a woman that has also made such an impact in the community of Southern California. Please, Saji.
Thank you for that, Mo. So yes, the article that I wrote is an interesting title, I think, to me, Law and Leadership, something that people don't typically couple together unless they really, really think about, what makes a good leader. And the answer is it's not a lawyer. but the law is a central part of how we get from one place to the other, and how we drive an enterprise, how we drive a thought from one place into action. As you, Mayor, know very well, that's what you're doing. You're empowering yourself and others by utilizing the framework of the law, the platform of the law, to get to the next level. So what I wrote about was in the mindset of what the Tribune is about. The Tribune is progressive, forward-thinking, ambitious, all in, want to do it right community. And we are growing, as Mo mentioned too, across different cultures and continents for that matter too. And I think that's the time to also kind of step in and say, we have a bounty of great ideas. There are ways to translate those ideas and look to leaders who have done it before using the framework that is currently in place, and also moving that needle just a little bit further as we go along. And that's what the law represents to me. To me, the law, some businesses, the law can be something that is a restrictive sort of covenant, right? They're restricted. They can't go forward because there's this law and compliance laws and tax laws and employment laws. The other way to think about it is the way that vanguards in the industries that I highlighted in the article approach it, which is, yes, there's a framework of laws. How can we harness those laws in ways that give us a strategic advantage, that give us a sound foundation for growth, and that give us also a lot of confidence to feel like we can get to the next level? And that's what the article is focused on doing.
May I say sorry.
Go ahead, Dame.
Oh, I was going to say, may I say something to Sajid real quickly? I just want to tell you that I dreamed you up. Remember, I was in the court system. I was going to grow up to be an attorney. And when I ran into the industry that was just being created in the 70s, in 1978, I always wanted to go back to the law. I always wanted to go back to the legal system and have amazingly wonderful attorneys that would make such a contribution. And I have met a few, but I just want you to know that you are a dream come true for me. And thank you, because that is where so many of the laws get created. So much happens there. So can't thank you enough, Saji.
Oh, thank you even more, because I don't think that the newer lawyers, or I should say that the next generation in any profession, would be there if not for the anchors and the paving of the way that was done before that. And you're doing that even still today. So thank you.
Beautiful. Speaking of contributions, Renee, let's hear from you.
Hello. First of all, let me say it is an absolute pleasure to be here with so many impressive, wonderful leaders. So thank you all for your contribution, and what an honor to be in this special edition with you. So my article, my passion, my books are all about empowering people to understand that their mindset, their positive way of thinking can change absolutely every facet of their life. And as a leader, the ripple effect of having a positive attitude and supporting people and kindness, I just think cannot be overstated. I think this is how we change the world, with kindness and reframing negative difficult situations into positive things. I personally have been through a lot, and I'm grateful for it. I think it's a blessing because I believe people who have been through a lot are the ones that end up making the biggest contribution and becoming the strongest and really impacting the world. So I love to, in my upcoming book, I have 20 chapters with 20 stories. 2 of them are near-death experiences. I think the book reads a little bit more like a novel until you get to the self-help part of it, which I love. I'm hoping to help people shorten their grieving time, shorten their anxiety time and struggling. And I just have really realized that this is my purpose. God put me through all that so that I could help people expedite the process. So that is what I've been doing.
I love that. Pain for purpose. A lot of us could use that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Renee. And we have so many incredible, busy thought leaders. We have an active mayor with us, so we want to be respectful of everyone's time. Mayor, we want to give you the floor for you to share closing thoughts, as well as what is the future of your city and the vision for the future of your city and the way that you're hoping to impact Southern California, because we at the Los Angeles Tribune want to support that vision. And we want to work with mayors and community leaders to make sure that Southern California remains one of the greatest places on planet Earth. Mayor, the floor is yours for closing thoughts, closing words, and then we'll take a short break and come back with some adding some folks to this incredible panel. Floor is yours, please. Let's just make sure you are unmuted. I think you are still muted, Mayor, if you want to go ahead. There.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Floor is yours, please.
Thank you so very much. Again, my name is Raquel Vasquez, Mayor for the City of Lemon Grove. Thank you for allowing me to share this time with you. It's so very special to me. And the one thing that I'd like to share with people is, think about the thing that you do really, really well, the thing that comes natural, and take that thing and couple that with your passion and go out there and make a difference. I think the one thing that we've all realized with everything that we've gone through, COVID, it's that life is short. It's very short, but also so very meaningful. And so we all have to live each day like it's our last. And so, that thing that you do really, really well, that comes so natural to you, take that with your passion and turn it into something amazing. For me, it just happens to be service and government service. But for each person, it's different and unique. And so, I just want to share that with people. Go out there, make a difference, and do something amazing. In terms of my leadership here, I always put my community and people at the forefront of every single thing that I do. And in my respective role, it's the priorities, which is enhancing budget transparency, ensuring that we have adequate public safety, and spearheading maintenance and improvement projects to ensure that we have a good quality of life. The one thing that I can say during my time, I have created a more inclusive and prosperous Lemon Grove by championing these fundamental pillars. And it's through my leadership that I will continue to do the work to shape a brighter future for the city. And my hope is that I leave an indelible mark on the community, and that I shape a brighter future for everyone. So, those are the thoughts that I have right now. Also, you can add me on social media. I'm just about on every platform. And if you are local, and if you ever want to meet with me, I just want to let you know that I have an open door policy where I meet with community members, organizations, business leaders on Mondays after 4:30 p.m. You just have to send me an email, and we'll set up a time to meet and to talk about strategies on how we can work together to improve our quality of life. Thank you.
Well, the city of Lemon Grove is one of the most unique cities in Southern California, and sort of one of the hidden gems. And we would love to continue working with you, as well as the city of Lemon Grove. And we endorse you because of the vision that you have, and because of the transparency that you've provided to your community. And we hope that it creates a domino effect with all of the other mayors of Southern California, and that they can follow in your footstep with your policy of transparency, because I think that is going to, bring the community, private sector and public sector, closer together. So thank you, Mayor. We appreciate your time. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come back with the second half of this show, where we're celebrating the contributors to the latest special edition newspaper. We will be right back.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
And welcome back. And we're going to add a couple folks to join this roundtable conversation. Again, every one of the guests this week is a contributor at the latest Special Thought Leadership Edition. And actually, Mark Rodriguez got front page billing because his story was so touching, powerful, and inspirational that the editorial team and Alva Manuel, the senior editor, decided to have Mark Rodriguez as one of the front page stories. Mark, we want to give you the floor, and we also want to welcome Lori McNeil, who also has an amazing story that we'll get into in a couple minutes. But Mark, I want to give you the floor for those individuals that may have never heard of your story before. I know that you were a hit at the last virtual summit, which 30,000 people from around the world attended. But I want to give you the floor because your story is very touching, moving, and inspirational. Mark Rodriguez, floor is yours, please.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having me here today. It's quite the honor to be included with some of these wonderful and powerful women. They make me miss my mom, who raised 9 children. She was a very strong and faithful woman. My story is one of resilience, perseverance, and faith. In 2010, I was diagnosed with silicosis fibrosis. Now, that's a lung disease that's associated with breathing in the fine silica dust while doing stonework. It basically turned my lungs into rocks themselves. And ironically, the surgeon for my first transplant had to remove my lungs with a hammer and chisel. 2 tools that I used to build my career were now being used to save my life. About 3.5 years later, after a fall, I got a pulmonary embolism. And that put me on my deathbed worse than ever before. People talk about one day at a time. And people talk about being a warrior. But when you're fighting for your life, it's a whole different kind of fight. That fight went from one day at a time to one sunrise and one sunset at a time, and eventually to 1 hour at a time. And I finally got the call for my second lung transplant in my last hour of life. I could already feel my body floating away. What was in my body floating away? It was my soul trying to leave my body. And I didn't know that until I got to the hospital and I told the doctor the sensation that I was having. Well, throughout this journey, there's been some times that seemed very impossible, that I would be able to beat this, that I would be able to get through this. And a lot of people around me didn't really think that I would make it. I didn't have much of a chance. If this thing would have been happening in Vegas, they would have took my name off the board and said, "We're not giving odds on this thing. There's no way." But I just kept believing that I could endure this fight. And every day I would wake up, I would be thankful for waking up, even in the condition I was in. And I developed to be able to be grateful for my worst days. And those serve many purposes. It shows us that God has gotten us to 100% of our worst days. There's no better record than that. And it's a wonderful way to check yourself. When you start having a bad day, you think, well, I got through my worst day, and this isn't even half as bad, so I'm going to be all right. But I just got it in my head that it wasn't a win or lose situation. If I got the lungs and I got more time, then it's a win. But if God called me home, then it's just a bigger win. So it was a win or win more situation. In life, I believe that the only time you lose is when you quit. And when you talk about being a warrior, we are well aware that our fight may lead to our death, but we are not fixated on that. We have accepted it and we continue on in our fight. But we also realize that we're only warriors as long as we fight. Once you quit, you're just a coward, shrouding yourselves in tools of the weak. And in 2010, I returned to stonework, just trying to find myself again. I was in a dark place, and I was lost. I didn't know my purpose. And I went back to what almost killed me to find myself again, to find my power and my strength. And I was successful at that. And that's when the lung transplant stonemason was born. But I see too many people in my community and in my state and even in the world that use the word "I can't" too much. And, you know, when you think it, then you speak it and you give it life into the universe. Well, your body is just following orders. It's just being obedient. So that can't be the hardest thing in it. Believing in yourself beyond measure, that you can accomplish something. Once you get it here and here, you've already won more than half the battle. The actual physical act of doing it, that's the easy part. That's just the body following orders. But it takes hard work. And many times you have to look in your own mirror and challenge yourself and say, what's it? And I did this. I did this when I was dying in many different ways. But one of the ways I did it, I would ask myself every morning, what's it going to be today, Mark? Are you going to fight like a warrior? Are you going to fight for your daughter? Or are you going to curl up in a ball and quit like a coward? And it's too easy to quit. It's much harder to fight. But in the end, it's worth it, because nothing good ever comes easy. And if it does, it usually doesn't last.
Incredible, Mark. Thank you for that. And Julie, please kick it off. Lori McNeil, one of the contributors at the latest Special Thought Leadership Edition. Lori, what are your thoughts on what Mark just shared, number one? And number two, what can people expect from your article? Please, Flora.
What an inspirational story, Mark. First of all, thank you for your heart. Thank you for your openness and your willingness to share your story to impact the hearts, souls, and minds of other people. I resonated with so much of what you said. Not because I've been through the same exact things, but because of different challenges that not only myself, but I'm sure everyone listening can identify with in some way, as far as that more or less that tipping point or that thing in their life that kind of shifts their thinking to think in a bigger scale about their overall purpose. here in the world and what you want to accomplish. And you're definitely inspirational. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so glad that you are here today to inspire all of us. So thank you so much, Mark. That's amazing. I'm honored to be a contributor and to be featured in the latest edition, Harnessing the Power of Media Through Building a Lasting Legacy. And so this is something I'm super passionate about, helping people understand how to. I'm a media expert, and I'm a legacy builder. And it's really interesting because I, through Lori McNeil International, basically teach people how to put those two worlds together in order to have a greater impact on the world and what they're trying to do. A lot of people might have a business plan. You might have that deep desire burning within you that Napoleon Hill talks about in chapter 1. You might actually have that thing that you know that you were meant for, but you might not know exactly how to make it happen. And so not only do I teach a specific 8-step strategy legacy building process, but I harness the power of media in the process so that you understand the media strategies that go along with your goal, your mission, your vision, your overall legacy that you're after. A lot of people, throw spaghetti at the wall thinking that, hoping that something will stick. And so they might be on a podcast, they might be a paper, they might, do all of these things because they don't really understand how to put those pieces together. And so not only do I teach you how to build out your true legacy that you were created in this world to carry out, but then I teach you how to implement the right media strategies that are actually going to get you the greatest impact for your messaging, for your target audience, that are actually going to support your overall legacy mission that you're trying to achieve. So it's really putting all of the different strategies in place that make the most sense for you, that are actually going to get you further faster than if you're spinning your wheels trying to kind of figure things out on your own, so to speak. So Legacy Builders is a strong program that is gaining momentum all of the time as far as the specific strategies that I teach in that, and then specific media strategies, and really putting those together in a very unique way that nobody else is out there really teaching in quite the same way. So I am living out my legacy and doing the things that I was created to do, and not only teaching other people how to accomplish this, but through my own foundation, the Charlie Foundation, is something that is near and dear to my heart, and one of the pillars of the company being increased literacy, education, and advocacy. So my nonprofit, and apart from what I do globally around the world with entrepreneurs, is to actually really build those strong literacy foundations with libraries, schools, and communities, and building out, different efforts and really aiding in that with specific strategies that not only I teach as a long-term educator and business professional, but that really help people understand that there's so much more than just read so many minutes a day, right? There's all these campaigns that, although they're not bad, there's a lot of different specific strategies that actually go a little bit deeper into how to build that. So I actually write a series of children's books, which a lot of people don't know is something else that goes on in the background with my nonprofit. And through the research, and before I even wrote the first one, it was literally figuring out what would be the most helpful and how can I fill that gap in the field of literacy within the world. And in the research, I discovered that there's a lot of pieces of curricula that help teachers, that help parents basically teach kids how to read, teach adults even how to read, but there's not a series out there that teaches specific literacy strategies within the storyline itself. So as an expert curriculum designer and all of the tools that are in my toolbox, I actually designed a special set of books that actually will increase your literacy skills just by interacting with the story and within the book itself. So the Charlie is the main character of that series that is basically based on the Charlie Foundation of the nonprofit. And so a lot of things that I teach within the different strategies, and kind of one of the overall, background things that is becoming more and more to the forefront all the time is leading by example, and what is truly in your desire, what's in your heart for living out the legacy, the passion that's within you, but then I'm actually doing it myself and demonstrating through various activities and efforts other entrepreneurs and leaders how to build that themselves. And so really taking all of these different pieces about who you are, who you serve, the problem that you solve, what you were born in this world to do, and really doing it in a bigger way all the time, and understanding what it's going to take to actually get from wherever you are to where you want to be. So my article really breaks down the 8 steps of building a legacy and integrating some of the media pieces in that to help you maximize your legacy message.
That's beautiful, Lori. I love that so much. And in the same vein as that, you inspired the next question. Speaking of legacy and leadership, and we're going to start with Saji to answer this question. What would be the one quality, if you could just pass along to the next generation as far as leadership, what would be the one quality that you would pass along?
Purpose. I think that people, I mean, there's a lot of, especially people come to advisors like lawyers and ask for technique. But if you look at even the article that I wrote in the Vanguards and how they applied the law, all of them were consistent with their purpose. And some might say, the purpose was strategic. The answer is yes. They may say that the purpose was driven by, profits and new technology and maybe even go so far as to use words like ruthless. That's okay. If your purpose is whole and it's cultivated and it's developed and it's challenged and it feels true to you, then that's what you take forward. And you'll attract the people who will help you to drive that purpose, to protect that purpose, to harness it, and to take it to the next level and push the envelope. You'll also detract the people who won't. And so I'd say the number one thing that's of most important is purpose.
Beautiful. I love that so much. And we've all been talking about that today. So thank you for bringing that up. Dame Doria, what about you?
He said it. And another one would be flexibility. And what I mean by that is that the world changes so much. And I have met a lot of young people that are very crystallized. And flexibility, just and that resilience that beautiful Mark said. Maybe I took his word, but flexibility and to be able to learn and to be able to study and to be able to see other people's point of views and to be able to see the different roles that people have, and being flexible when we really get stuck with something, having a compassionate heart. It's I find that being able to just kind of adjust to what's happening now and see new opportunities and see the new paradigm that has already shifted. We had 2 major global paradigm shifts in the last 3 years, and people don't even realize how much the world has changed. And even then they want to deny it even when you are showing them that it has already changed, and they're playing by old rules. And then they keep having learning experiences. So flexibility is resilience, openness of mind. So it keeps you young and it keeps you present. Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely, Doria. What the last couple of years has proven is that those in business that are adaptable are the ones that are successful. So thank you for that point. So we're going to add a few more folks here. Jamie Matheson, who a lot of people in this community remember from that conversation she had with Mark Victor Hansen recently. We're going to add Eve, who is a very important member of this community. Fred Moskowitz, who a lot of people in this community remember for his financial education, alongside Sharon Lecter at the last event. And of course, Barbie Layton, who I think will be joining us here in a moment as well. Actually, she'll be joining us right now. As soon as I get off. And Julianne, please take it away. Saji and Dame Doria, the two of you, if you have any questions as well, you guys can also help moderate this next panel. But we're going to start with everyone that just joined us sharing what their article is about and the impact that they're hoping that it will make for the world. Jamie, please, let's start with you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be here, you guys. My article is called A Generation at War. And the war we really are fighting is with our personal thoughts. People have lost hope. How do we find hope? Where do we go for hope? The biggest war we fight is not with one person at a time, but we're fighting a war with our spirituality, our finances, our physical well being, our mental well being. And it's those thoughts that take us from one place to the next. My concept of hope, so I have a concept of hope that I share. And it is hope is a gift and it has to be given. If people have lost hope, we can't find it. We can't go to the store and buy it for ourselves. Hope is a gift and it has to be given to us. And so, how do we reach out to those who have lost hope and share a gift of hope with them? My gift of hope, I found I was given by my son, who is now 26. At the age of 5, when he was 5, I had stage 4 breast cancer. And every day he would bring me a white rock. He shared with me how he got this idea, but he would get off the bus from kindergarten every day, come in and bring me a white rock and say, I hope you get better, Mama. He would give me a squeeze around the neck or around the leg and just run off to his next big adventure for the day. But those gifts of hope that he gave me proved to me that hope is not a state of mind, hope is an action. And we have to have an action in order to share or spread hope with others. And so, what I would like to do with my article, it kind of, if people go to my website, it's hope-rocks.com, so hoperocks.com. There actually are, you can buy Hope Rocks, but how do we share hope with others? When people wake up in the middle of the night and they have lost hope and they can't see a way to get through to the next morning, what can we do? What can we give them to represent an item for hope? How are we going to change that frequency in their brain to all of a sudden think light and hope and want to live to the next day and move forward? Because at 2:00 in the morning, who are they going to call? They don't want to bother people, especially if they're so brokenhearted themselves. This war that we fight, this generational war of hope and going from hopeless to hopeful, really is fought at 2:00 in the morning. And so we need something to represent hope to us at that point, to the ones that we love the most, to get them to the next day. How do we take our parents who have lost their spouse that they have built their lives with, and in the middle of the night they are so lost and distraught and can't get to the next day because they have lost hope. Their partner is no longer with them. Our hope rocks, they actually glow in the dark. And so in the middle of the night, there is this beautiful shining light that represents hope to those that have lost it. And a light that if you've lost your parent or a partner, you can see that light and remember that their light continues to shine through you. You are that light. You are what represents them continuing on this path in life. And so in my article, that's really what I want to share is Hope Rocks, the thought that hope is not a thought. Hope is an action. It is a verb. It is something that we do. It is a true act to take people from hopeless to hopeful. And how can we share that? How can we all share that with each other? So that's what I am all about.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I have to tell you something really quickly. I actually gave my mom a little white rock, a hope rock, and she had cancer as well. So you're onto something because
right here.
Anyway, Eve, I would love for you to share.
Thank you so much. I am so impressed and moved by what you're talking about because my life purpose is about helping to instill hope in others and allowing them to see the own light and power that they have and the light in the world around them that is accessible to them at any time. So many times we forget about our power and our strength. And being an entrepreneur, we talk about one of those best kept secrets is having faith in yourself and faith that something bigger is watching over you and you will yield the results that you want. This applies to anything in life, whether it's cancer, a relationship, a project you're working on, anything. And so I love that I'm seeing someone else highlight this underlying principle. It is so important for us to have hope, because the only way we win is we keep standing up after falling, right? The falling, yeah, that's inevitable. But are we going to stay down in hopelessness, heartlessness, just give it up? Or are we going to keep living, growing, and getting stronger, and then being a light for the next person and for the masses? And I believe that all of us here on this screen, including the mayor and whoever else might not be here right now, we are all way showers, because we are, through our enthusiasm and our passion and fire, we are shedding that light and spreading that hope to everyone around us, each one of us in our own special niche. And getting to niches, is it all right for me to talk about mine, or are we still commenting on hers?
No, please share about you.
Thank you so much. What my specialty is on dealing with whatever life throws at us, whether it's relationship wise, situation wise, and tackling it with faith, with a sense of a higher power, so that even if those immediately around us are disappointing us, we know there's always something else we can lean on. And there's something else on this level right here. There are nonprofits, there are the community leaders and other organizations that can help us. We can have our healthier friends, our counsel at church or in other places. I personally am trained as a psychiatrist and family practitioner, so I have helped to lead families and people through a variety of situations in their lives and to come out victoriously, living a healthier life. And right now, while I have retired from medicine, I am especially focused on helping people who have been feeling disempowered, particularly by relationships, be they at home or at work, especially because of COVID coming recently and putting people to be feeling a little more trapped indoors for extended periods of time with narcissists. So I have very recently, or most recently, developed programs that would be being given group or one-on-one style to help these people who are dealing with others who manipulate them to their own selfish ends, who act like they are loving you so much, but then over time you find out they're talking dirt behind your back, or they're not fulfilling their promises, or they're just not being who they told you they would be. And you're wondering what's going on because you're thinking in the normal scheme that most humans think, but the narcissist is thinking on their own personal scheme. Okay. It's very important, as we've talked about in different versions today, to keep hold of your personal power and to not give it up to anyone else. And when someone is unfairly wielding their power over you, it's important for you to find healthy, safe ways to get help for that. And that's where I come in. I help you with gaining the mechanisms, the coping skills, the negotiation know-how, all these different gifts that I've learned from my psychiatric background, as well as from the modern healing backgrounds dealing with energy, which really means just being able to tap into your own inner strength, know how to pull it out in the correct mode that you need to deal with whatever situation. The bottom line to this is that faith that we were just talking about. Believe in yourself. Believe there's a way out. Believe and be optimistic that there is something better that is available for you. You just need to walk right into it.
Thank you for that, Eve. And we're going to give Renee Dutton closing words as she segues off the panel. And I want to remind folks that when you read the Special Thought Leadership Edition newspaper, you are educating yourself, transforming yourself, and elevating yourself mentally, relationally, physically, financially, and spiritually. So expect people from all 5 of these categories in this one newspaper. Renee, closing words. Best-selling author Renee Dutton, closing words before we take a short break and finish out our segment in the remaining few minutes that we have. Renee Dutton, please.
Thank you, Mo. So it was interesting listening to all of you. I feel that we all have so many similarities in our messages. And you've all been an absolute inspiration. And keep up good work. And I look forward to doing more with all of you very soon. Thank you very much, Mo. An absolute honor to be here.
Thank you, Renee. And we're going to have someone joining us out, and then we'll be doing closing comments here in just a couple minutes. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Julianne. And we're going to hear from Barbie Layton here in a moment, but I'd love to see if Doria Cordova has any thoughts on what we've heard so far. Doria, please.
Wow, it has been so riveting. I did have a question. The word narcissist is so used nowadays. I remember in the world when very few people use that word. What is a narcissist?
That's the million-dollar question. Thank you so much for asking, because it's important to clarify. All of us have narcissism in us. Narcissism is simply a defense mechanism. So when we say the word narcissist, we're talking about someone who takes that defense mechanism over the line. They're violating other people's boundaries at their expense, at the other people's expense, to get what they want. Okay. So whenever something that you or I would do hurts someone, and we don't mind that because we know we're getting ahead ourselves, that is the type or the nature of the narcissism movement that we are talking about here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
I also wanted to really thank Mark. What a beautiful story. When you talked about your mama, I got tears in my eyes. I have a 98-year-old one still, and we bless you. Many of us would volunteer to be your mama anytime. And I can hardly wait until we bring up Barbie. Julianne, you'll be doing that?
Yes, Barbie, let's see if we have if the spirits and the energy is in alignment today to have you speak without any issues. For those of you who missed the Legacy Summit, we had some issues because she was vibrating so high. But Barbie, let's hear from you.
Hi, well, thank you for having me on again. It's so great to see friends. Hi, Saji. Hi, Dame Doria. And it's a wonderful thing to meet new friends as well. I took a different tack. My specialty is I'm a scientifically verified quantum healer and executive coach, and I work with a lot of different kinds of people around the world. But for this particular edition, I really wanted to do something very special. Yes.
So we have an audio issue with your microphone. We're going to ask you to leave and return in a moment because there's static when you speak, and I want to make sure that people hear you properly, because I think that your contribution to the paper is so important that I want people to be able to hear you clearly, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on this powerful article. So Barbie Layton, we're going to have her do a quick reset, and hopefully that will be alleviated. So with that being said, Saji, I'm curious to hear your thoughts so far, and let's do a quick final word from each person here while we have Barbie work out the technical stuff. Saji, floor is yours for your final word of the day, please.
Okay, thank you for that opportunity. It's interesting. We had this conversation seems to be evolving just sort of in a natural, progressive way to have the new entrants here into the conversation. That before it was far more, centered around words like purpose, and the progression we were making as business people, as humans, and as women, and people who are just overall inclusive in the workplace and entrepreneurial. And then we have the entry of Eve and Jamie and Lori, and of course a lot of heart with your story, Mark. So I guess my closing words of this is community. I'd say start with purpose, and I think of course with purpose and businesses being groups of people. But I also think that the businesses that take it further and move the envelope that actually have an impact are those that sing together with community. They're groups of people. They're groups of people who align in values and principles. And like I said before, too, they test those principles, too, to make sure that these are calibrated just the way they should be and that we belong together. And here we are on the screen in a way that we didn't design ourselves, but I think there is a thread, a common thread of community, a culture that values community. And I want to thank you all for having me with you.
Thank you so much, Saji. I see that we have Ann Landstrom here now, and she is an amazing photographer, but she's more than that. She has this amazing way of capturing people's essence in photography. I would love for you to share.
Hi, Julianne. Hi, Dendoria. Hi, everybody that I know and that I don't know. I'm so happy to be here. And people tell me that I capture the essence. I believe that is because the work that I've done on myself, number one, in self-development, I strongly believe that it's to be able to capture somebody's essence, you got to go beyond the person and dig a little deeper to be able to capture that. So I think a lot of that goes into consultation and talking to people and see what is it, what's behind that authentic self that I want to see in the images.
And you're a contributor at the latest Thought Leadership edition. Very quickly, 60 seconds or less, what is the impact that you're hoping that your article will be making to our community, for the world, please?
Well, I believe now with AI being on our doorsteps knocking, what's going to happen? Are we going to be replaced, or do we need to step up and start learning AI and see what it can do for us? So the people that are learning AI, they're the one who's going to be replacing us, not the AI particularly. And in my opinion, as a photographer, the AI is never going to be able to capture your soul and essence. That's just something that a professional photographer, somebody that's able to do that. So no matter how many images you get in a package with AI, thousands of them, it's not going to be your true authentic self. And I think people's going to be able to see that through all the filters and everything that people are going to put on. So be yourself, get your message out, and that's what people are going to want, and that's what your next customer is looking for.
Beautiful. And so we're gonna see if Barbie Layton's technical issue has been alleviated. Barbie, please give us a quick mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, can you hear me?
Absolutely. So Barbie, share with our community, share with the audience what people can expect from your contribution and the impact that you're hoping that this article will make and the ripple effect that it will make throughout the world. Please, floor is yours.
So thank you for the opportunity. And what I was hopefully with the audio issues before, I'm a scientifically proven quantum healer executive coach, and that's really the space where I work. But in this particular leadership edition with women, I really wanted to look at something very different. And I know that Doria was touching on it and Anne just spoke about it too, but it's 21st century business edge with quantum leadership and asynchronous collaboration. And I work with amazing teams around the world that are doing great things in the sense of we're having these asynchronous collaboration platforms. We can all be almost as we are in the same space together. So someone that's working in Austria or someone who's working in another place, we have all these different platforms where we can get together, we can integrate all the technology, but it's also something that Tony Hsieh, which I was nominated for his award in 2021 and 2022, he talked about holographic self-regulation in the workplace that allows you to become the very best version of yourself. So you outsource your weaknesses of where you're literally focusing on the things that is like for example, Anne is like the crack amazing celebrity photographer. So that's her lane. Sandra is an executive coach where she's a business strategist. Doria is working on financial literacy. So everybody finds their superpower and they become almost like this group of like the Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy. And then you'd have Saji coming in with his amazing, legal expertise, etc. So everybody has that opportunity. And the lady was just speaking about narcissistic abuse with psychiatry, etc. So we all find a way to be able to blend that in, but you're not constrained by time zone. You're not constrained by all these other different things that used to be where we had to all all be together in the office in the different way. And there's still a hybrid of where you have the in-person part and you also have the part where you're virtual as well. But I think that it's so exciting because, I was able to look up a lot of citations that companies like IBM and Google use this kind of stuff. And when Vishen Lakhiani, when I was in his coaching program, he said that Google literally has 50% of all of their programs are there specifically to fail. They build it into their business model because they want that innovation. They want that opportunity for people to be able to thrive and do the very, very best that they can. So to me, it's like, I've 10x'd everything that I've been doing in the last 3 years with, like I said, an amazing team, but we're all in different places. And some people are night owls and some people are morning people. And we can all find our sweet spot where we can co-collaborate. And, part of the group that I'm with also has Keith Ferrazzi, and he talks about this co-elevation and co-collaboration.
Right. And I think that we do have some audio issues again with Barbie, so we're going to have her gracefully leave. But I think that we had a chance to hear her powerful words, and more importantly, it's a plug for her powerful article. So we're going to bring back in Sandra Horton, who's also one of the contributors, and then we're going to have everyone who has not been able to share their closing words to close us out as we wrap up the program. Sandra Horton, please take the floor and share with us what people can expect from your contribution in the latest Thought Leadership Edition newspaper, please. Sandra Horton, let's make sure you're unmuted. And we're going to wrap up the program in about 10, 15 minutes. Sandra,
perfect.
Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mo. And I see so many beautiful friends. I just want to check my audio. Am I clear?
Yes.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you. I want to continue that vibing high. And, as a business success coach, I am absolutely all about everything that the Los Angeles Tribune is really moving forward with. And that is around growth, that's around leadership. And it's really helping ourselves as conscious leaders to kind of get out of our own ways, set ourselves up for success all at the same time. So what you can see from my part of that article is how you can see, solve, and strategize through change. Now, I know you can just imagine what would that look like? Well, it looks like taking specific steps to move your leadership forward. And it's really about, I call this kind of a reset. We need to reset ourselves. Through the COVID, post-COVID world, we need to reset, to observe, to reflect, to engage, and to connect. And what does that mean? To go in within, to go without. In leading transformation and change right now, and Barbie talked about the virtual world, the hybrid world. We have teams that are so seeking us as leaders to bridge that gap, to show the way forward. So my champion here is for all of us to take the reset. So my article is all about how to do that, because the greatest and most important fundamental image right now that we can bring to our leadership is understanding, having courage, being vulnerable, and becoming that conscious leader. And that, again, means becoming self-aware, opening ourselves up, inviting others into this conversation. Because our virtual teams, our hybrid teams, those we lead, are looking to us.
Absolutely.
Looking to us to lead forward.
Very important part of the upcoming program, upcoming edition, rather. So let's now do closing words with everyone and wrap up the program. We've gone a little over time. So Julianne, I want you to close us out with your final words of wisdom, please. Julie.
Thank you so much, Mo. So we've gone over a lot of different ideas, but there's one that I really want to reiterate here. And it's this idea of having gratitude for who we are, where we are, what we have already, while we are striving to become more, bigger, better, and helping the world in a bigger place. But being grateful, I think, is one of those key things that a lot of people overlook.
Thank you for that, Julianne. Lori McNeil, please, 60 seconds or less, your closing words with our audience. Floor is yours.
There's a few years ago, I heard this really great concept that has just really stuck with me that I've then, taught other people. And that is that if you find yourself exhausted, if you find yourself stressed out and completely drained, which a lot of people in entrepreneurship, they find themselves just almost wondering if they're on the right path, if they're doing the right thing, all of this, because they're not feeling the emotion that they were expecting to feel. I want to encourage you to think about the concept around, if you are you're drained when you're not doing enough of the right things that actually light you up and fill your heart, soul, and mind. So there's a difference between being driven and having that, finding that that energy and that passion to keep going, that drive, and then feeling completely drained and discouraged and frustrated. And the reality is that you're not necessarily doing enough of the things that are within your zone of genius that fills your passion, that fills your soul. We all have those things that definitely have to get done, but think about the overall balance of what's going on in your life and how you can get back into balance with the things that you were created to do in this world. So if you're finding yourself super, super drained, super frustrated, having all of these limiting beliefs and questions, I want to implore you to dig a little bit deeper into the action steps that you are in the loop of being busy doing. And are they actually the right action steps that are getting you to your ultimate vision, to your ultimate legacy? Or are they just keeping you drained because you're not actually taking action in the right ways that you need to, that fill those that overall vision, but that actually light you up?
Incredible. Thank you for that, Lori McNeil. Jamie Matheson, floor is yours.
Thank you. So I would like to share as closing, there are principles of hope. There are principles of hope that affect our families, that affect our children, that affect our employers and our employers' businesses, as well as our entrepreneurial endeavors. If we can help each other get those principles of hope right, if employers will help employees bring those principles of hope home so they can get their families right, they can get their homes right, it's going to progress and get their businesses right. Our employees are going to engage and be 100% there. You're going to get better production, you're going to get better outcomes, you're going to get better results and better relationships for your business, the people you're in business with. And it all goes back to the principles of hope that we share at home. So if I could encourage one thing today, it would be for employers, it would be for anyone to bring those principles of hope home and help build families so it can expand out to our businesses, to our communities, to our churches, to our countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. Eve, please.
Thank you. I just want to say that what you've mentioned is a perfect overlap to my quoting Confucius in my article in the Tribune. So I love it. And so now my emphasis will shift just a little bit more from that so I can help spread more light to others. And this is that in order to have that strong nation, to have that strong society, to have that strong family, we need to remember that we always stand within our power to choose. Whenever we believe that we can choose what is right for us, then we make better choices which affect the world around us, not just within us. But it does start with our choice. So rather than choose to feel helpless and heartless, choose to get whatever help it takes, whatever you need to get done so that you can succeed, so that you can satisfy your ambition to make a difference in this world, and you can contribute in whatever way you want and receive in kind by respecting yourself, constructing healthy boundaries, and by role modeling this for yourself, you then become a leader for others. So strive for the best personal leadership possible, and then you are doing your bit to make this a better world.
Thank you for that, Eve. And before we go to Saji to have him share his final thoughts, Marielle has joined the round table. She is one of the contributors. Marielle, please share with the audience what people can expect from your article and the impact that you're hoping that it will make for the community. Marielle, please.
Yes, so thank you so much for having me here. So my hope for everybody who reads the article is that everyone will be able to realize that maybe they have gone through trauma, through difficult time, whether it's emotional, physical, spiritual, and that by changing their mindset, by changing their vibration, then they can overcome whatever is holding them back. And through the power of the secret mandala that they can do on their own, and I can teach that as well. But they can definitely look on the brighter side of things. It's very easy to say, you know, the law of attraction doesn't work. Poor me, look what happened to me. But if we keep thinking those in those terms, then we're going to bring more of that into our reality, where we stop those thoughts and we actually say, you know, I want a different outcome, I want a different life, I can live a healthy, happy life, and dig into the layer and the layers that hold us, you know, in position of feeling, you know, sorry for ourselves, or in pain or whatever, then we can change the outcome. The body is amazing, the mind is amazing. It's all up to each one of us to change that. So my hope is that when the people read this article, they will pause for a few seconds and they will want to inquire more. They will want to do more research. They will want to have more personal development in different areas with different mentors. And they can say, you know what? Today is a new day and I want to be happy. I want to vibrate higher. I want to focus on myself. I want to take care of self-care.
Incredible.
And each day is a new day that can happen.
Incredible. Thank you, Marielle. And again, folks, 5 subject matters, 5 categories are covered in this leadership edition: financial, mental, relational, physical, and also spiritual. So you're going to have a very eclectic group of leaders. Saji, closing words. I know you're going to be parting momentarily. Closing words, and then we'll go to Anne. Saji, please.
I'll make it very brief because I think I had some time, and I'd love to hear it from the people who haven't had so much. But what I'm hearing again is just this thread of making a choice for ourselves, for our community to collaborate, whether it's an employment-based situation or if it's just at home. So making a choice. I'm inspired by this conversation to say that I make choices every day. I think there are more choices I can make that are volitional, of an intent. I try to do it better and better, and I hope the same for every one of you too. Thank you.
Thank you, Saji. Let's go to Anne. Closing words, 60 seconds or less. Floor is yours.
I just wanted to say to all the women leaders out there that stop hiding behind your logo. That's the title of my article, because people need to see and hear you. People need to see who's behind your story and your business. So step in front of that camera, step in front of that video and share your message and your business, because we need a human connection. We need to see who's behind. And so I would highly recommend that you just think about when you post a picture on Facebook, if you have a great image, all the likes and all the comments and everything, what would that do in your business if you stepped up and did that for yourself? So I'll leave it at that. And thank you so much, Mo and Ava, for having me here today. And have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Anne. Mark Rodriguez, floor is yours.
Well, we can't say we believe in ourselves beyond measure and then operate in
So I'll leave it
self-sabotage.
at that. And thank you so much, Mo and Ava, for having me here today.
Those two things just don't go together, and they never will. It's kind of like a peanut butter and tuna fish sandwich. It'll never happen. And when I talk about self-sabotage, you have to silence the negatives. You have to starve your fears and doubts. And in all of that, you have to heal yourself, whether it's through things you've done to yourself or things that have happened to you. Because without healing, growth is not possible. And without growth, there's no elevation. And when you do that, then you will have an opportunity to turn your pain into power, your heartaches into helpfulness, and your traumas into triumphs and teachings for others. And had I not engaged in that, I would not be where I'm at in my life right now, and in this chapter of my life as a transformational empowerment coach and servant leader. And I am so in love with this part of my life because I know that's why God still has me here, to help people begin to help themselves. And I just want to thank you all for including me in this powerful forum. It's been an honor, and the pleasure has been all mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Dame Doria, I would love to give you the floor to hear your final words. Please, floor is yours.
Well, I just wanted you all to go home and make a list of all the access that you have. You will find out that you're much wealthier than you think. And please read my article because it is absolutely going to bring you new distinctions for you to understand how much access makes a difference in all of our lives. And I want to make sure that I invite you all today at 5 p.m. California time to come to Fridays with Doria. We're going to have Ken Honda, who's going to be teaching us the Japanese art of happy money. He's one of talk about accessibility. He is, Japan's biggest publisher and best-selling author. Most people don't realize the access and the worldwide impact that he makes. So I just been so happy to be with all of you. I feel like I have a whole new other group of people to connect with, and I am so appreciative of the Los Angeles Tribune for always including me. I get lots of access to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's try Barbie Layton one more time. I know we had that microphone issue earlier. Let's see if that's been fixed. Barbie Layton, closing words, 60 seconds or less, please. Let's see if we can hear you clearly. Barbie Layton.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see, but Muriel actually the mandala that she made for me is on my wall here with my art in the background too. So Muriel and I have both had this problem with the shorting out of electrical things just because of the high frequency. But yes, it's very important for women and all entrepreneurs to be able to really, really bring that synergy together and have that where we all harmonize together with our frequencies. And if anyone is interested in finding out more about that, they can go to barbielayton.com or thescienceofsigns.com. And I'm really, really grateful to be a part of this collaboration. And I think it's going to be very, very impactful. I'm grateful to be this being the second one of two, the former one with Elon Musk and the Dalai Lama, which was really, really impactful as well with a lot of other amazing people. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Barbie Layton. You are definitely a example of what it means to be a leader that is purpose driven, that knows themselves, and that is expressing themselves unapologetically. And I think that the world needs more unique voices and people to just be who they are and not be copycat of something that they see. And so I've always appreciated your originality and the fact that you're unapologetically you. And I hope that the audience takes that lesson and applies it to their life, because there's only one person that has this thumbprint, and that's you. So embrace who you are. And we're gonna see if we could get Sterling in here momentarily, but before we bring him up, Ava, I would love to hear your thoughts, the senior editor of the Leadership Edition. So a lot of people, come to me and say, "Hey, how do I get in the newspaper?" Don't talk to me. Talk to Ava if you're lucky enough to get a hold of her. She is the gatekeeper of the newspaper. So Ava, please, floor is yours.
Well, what an honor. I am so grateful for all of the contributors that we have on the screen, on stage, because what a beautiful Women in Leadership edition that we've all co created together. What a powerful testament to the power of women. And it's been such a journey for us, the editorial team, to do all of the research. If you see it, it's just so beautiful how we've gone through the journey of women from the very first time that women have gathered together on a convention, and that was 175 years ago on the Seneca Falls Convention, the very first convention that women gathered to do women empowerment and women's rights. And that was when we launched our newspaper, July 19. And it's 175 years anniversary of the Seneca Falls Convention. And it's so powerful to watch women, what our foremothers have fought for 175 years. Thank you, David Jones. what our foremothers have fought for 175 years. We are now walking in that privilege. We are now walking in that authority. And so we've got men like Mo Rock who supports us and our allies to empower women in our purpose in the world. And we've got Sterling Levere, and Mark Rodriguez. I want to hand the mic back to Sterling. It's such an honor, such a pleasure to have a man amongst the roses. And of course, Mo has to step up.
Well, Sterling, welcome. And Sterling, for those that don't know, was recently named Financial Advisor of the Year in California. So he's had a very incredible career helping many families and helping many businesses and individuals. And Sterling, real briefly, as we close out, what can people expect from your contribution in the newspaper, and what kind of impact do you hope that you can make for the reader and the folks in the community in a positive way? Sterling, please.
Well, I'm hoping that I can contribute, help them create wealth and save taxes and be a good citizen to the community, give back, fresh ideas of things that they can do to improve the business.
Awesome. And what is a piece of financial advice that in your years of helping individuals you would say is so commonly missed that you'd like to share with our community in closing? Something inspirational, Sterling. Something inspirational, please.
Have confidence. Take a look at opportunity. Never miss an opportunity to be in the right room and do the right thing. And it's all about being there and showing up. And if I can help, you're always welcome to give me a call and pick my brain. I've been around for 35 years, have lots of business experience, and I've received a lot of mentorship from a lot of people that have really helped me along the way. And I enjoy giving back and helping other people.
Thank you, Sterling. And before Ava shares her final words here, I want to thank the community for supporting the Los Angeles Tribune. I want to congratulate all of the contributors for being officially a part of history. Everyone here that has written for this newspaper is a part of history in more ways than one. And forever you will be associated with a national historical legacy brand. So congratulations. Ava, if you have any final words before we wrap up this program, please.
Well, I just want to say that it is such an honor for us to be able to do this special edition honoring women in leadership and the men who stood by the women. In this edition, I would love to invite you. Perfect timing. I would love to invite everyone, all of the leaders who wants to be on the next edition, to join us, subscribe, email me, ava@tribunela.com. And I would love to hear your stories. Would love to be able to put you up on the next edition. And with that, I'm done.
See you all next week. Thank you so much. Congratulations, everyone. See you all.